This letter from Maurice Nicoll focuses on self-remembering and not the practical aspects of self-remembering. He doesn't lay out what self-remembering is. It can be found in Search of the Miraculous in places and The Fourth Way. And just like Gurdjieff often says at the beginning of Beelzebub's Tales, he buries it so deep the dogs have to scratch for it. And Maurice Nicoll is often saying that we have to make connections within the work. We have to value the work and increase our understanding and make connections between all of these things in order to create a picture of what self-remembering is. And in this letter, Maurice Nicoll talks about a sort of a teaching from ancient times and how that's represented as self-remembering. And then he goes on to speak about the senses, the life of the senses, and how life is constantly coming to us through the senses, whereas self-remembering is coming from inside. It's, in a sense, an internal impression. The diagram in Search of the Miraculous, where you have on a normal impression, the arrow just going one way, receiving impressions through the senses, whereas self-remembering would be turning the arrow so there's attention both ways to constate. The senses receive the impressions, but you're also receiving an impression of your being and the three centers. And just before we get into the reading, I'm actually writing something new, a new writing project that is ultimately a thesis and a commentary on self-remembering, and it should be ready by the summer, I hope. I'm almost finishing up the first draft, and then I will have to edit and update and format and all of these things, but I would really like to have it ready for the summer. And so if you are really interested in self-remembering, then I would definitely do another video sharing the aspects from In Search of the Miraculous and The Fourth Way, and also Maurice Nicoll talks about it in many places if you know what you're listening for. But for now, here is his letter on self-remembering. Any questions, as always, reach out via email or in the comments. And like I say, if you want to go deeper into self-remembering leading up to the publication of my new work, then again, do reach out and I can share that with you. And if not, wait for the summer when the book's ready and you can read it in full. But for now, this is Maurice Nicoll on self-remembering. Birdlip, July 26th, 1943. Self-remembering. Tonight we will speak of self-remembering. It is necessary to remember oneself every day at least once. Many different descriptions have been given in the literature of the past. I will quote one given some 3 centuries ago. A disciple asks his master how he can come to the supersensual life and hear God speak. The master replies, "When thou canst throw thyself into that where no creature dwelleth, though it be but for a moment, then thou hearest what God speaketh." The disciple asked him if the place where no creature or nothing created dwells is near or far away. The master says, "It is in thee." And he adds that it is to be reached by ceasing even for a moment from all one's thinking and willing. When thou standest still from self-thinking and self-willing and canst stop the wheel of the imagination and the senses. In another place he says that this act must be done once a day at least, and only for a short time. It certainly must not be attempted too often. He is really describing what in this work is called self-remembering. It is very often difficult to hear the work speaking to us. As a rule, we are immersed in life and self-interests of various kinds and cannot hear the work. In the example just given, the disciple asks how he can come to the supersensual state and hear God speak. This means to a state that is above the life of the senses. Have you ever really thought what is the life of the senses? It is all your daily worries, all your cares, your daily contacts, all you see and hear, etc., through the senses. You see there is not enough food, or your pots and pans are wearing out, or you miss the bus, and so on. All this is the life of the senses. You see war, you see money, you see the table is broken, you see a letter with bad news, you see disease, you see an earthquake, you see your own face, and so on. All this is sensual, that is, life transmitted by the senses. How many of us are upset because of the electric light failing, or because of another man or woman, or because we cannot buy what we want, and so on. All this is sensual. Fit is the sensual life. It is life as you experience it via your five senses. You might ask, is there another kind of life apart from my business, my job, my daily cares, my house, family, my sick child, my this, my that, and so on? In other words, you are asking, is there any other life than the sensual life? Esotericism speaks of another life. The work speaks of it. You know how often the work says you must transform incoming impressions. Yet glued to that sensory reality that masters us at every moment and makes us its slave, we cannot easily see beyond the particular life event that is exerting its influence on us at the moment, as for instance, we have lost our ticket or our bag, or someone has been rude to us. When we are in a particular outer event, everything seems to be that event, does it not? Then it passes, and we wonder what happened. You remember what was once said, that life is a series of events, or if you prefer, that passing time, hour by hour, day by day, is composed of a definite structure of events that crowd in all the time on different scales, that is, as personal events, family events, local events, national events, world events, all on different scales. These are due to the 48 orders of laws we are under. Now, you can never be without some event that is trying to take force from you. Ill news is an event, for instance. Certainly war is an event. But they are not on the same scale, of course. There is a common phrase that life is one thing after another. It is necessarily so, since we are under definite laws. We are not free. This takes us probably all our life to grasp, and then we cannot grasp it. If you notice the kind of being you have, then you will get to know that it weaves a thread continuing the same series of events. Our level of being attracts our life, that is, the events belonging to it. You may feel how bad it is that these things always happen to you. Yes, but what has the work to say? Have you ever made the connection? Have you ever observed your life and its events from the angle of what the work teaches about being? There are times when self-observation is no good. Then you can say, I wish to remember myself. You will find that the work will help you. Recently, Mr. Ouspensky suggested that people should remember themselves at certain definite times as an exercise. The work emphasizes the importance of self-remembering from the start. Very often we forget to remember ourselves. We wonder what to do, but forget to remember ourselves. Perhaps we think of it, but we do not try to do it. We are always thinking of, but not doing the work. When we make no attempt to self-remember, our inner continuity with the work is broken. The work moves away from us and we pass into life. When this happens, it is necessary to self-remember. This opens us again to the influences of the work. This is quite a definite experience, but, as I said, we usually forget to remember ourselves and try instead to do something ourselves. To remember oneself is a surrender to oneself. One realizes one's helplessness. It is impossible to self-remember if one does not realize and understand that better influences can reach us. In one book written some 8 centuries ago by someone belonging to the Sufi schools, the writer compares self-remembering with coming to the surface of the sea and drawing in air. This air, he says, is miraculous and will last a whole day, even when one is at the bottom of the ocean. When one is very much identified with life, it is difficult to self-remember. It is also difficult when one has a wrong inner attitude to the work. Again, it is difficult to understand anything about self-remembering when one is identified with oneself. When you make a practice of self-remembering every day, you begin to be aware of a continuity running through your life. On the other hand, you become aware when this continuity is lost. When you feel this continuity and the loss of it, you have a point in the work in the emotional center. This is like inner taste, the starting of real work conscience.